initially, what problem did you personally run into that made Mohami podcast is the solution for that problem? What did you set out to solve with it?
There's a few angles to that. If I think about it from a personal point of view, from a selfish is the wrong word, but from a actual wanting to build my business out point of view, I am a professional, effectively, like the clients that I work with, and the best way to get business is through word of mouth. But you also need to use all the tools at your disposal. So you need social media, you need video, you need audio, you need written content. You also need very strong relationships, because that is the absolute best way is through referrals. So you need to have your name out there and be seen as credible. So from my own personal branding and business branding point of view, that was a big motivator for starting Mohami Matters. And it is called Mohami Matters versus CJA Consulting, which is my main consultancy business. There was that. But I guess the other part of it is that, well, there's a few other parts, but I really, really enjoy doing it. It is, as you say, I guess monetary, it doesn't cost a lot, but it is very way more time consuming than I'd ever anticipated. But it's rewarding at the same time. But it is also, I learn a lot. I talk to some really interesting people, and I learn so much in every episode that I host, genuinely. And at the other end of it, I'm helping people, because I'm helping the listeners to get some really informed information, really good information that's hopefully going to help them in their business, whether they're a partner in a firm or if they're a solopreneur. But it also helps the guests at the end of the day. The guests get to talk about what they do, get across their expertise, and prove their credibility, which is very difficult to find another medium that does that as well. Plus the fact, you do a podcast and you can reuse this content across so many different channels. So I think it's a slow burn, but it pays off, I think.
Absolutely. Now, in your opinion, at this stage of your podcast, I want to call it cycle, is Mohami a marketplace, a trust layer, or something else entirely? I get the learning part and education on both sides, the guests, self, and the audience. But do you trust layer is I think it's a little bit it hits home a little bit for me, because once you start validating and it doesn't happen overnight. It happened to me too. When I first started, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just pushing content out. Of course, I had like a lot of good guests talking to me and indulged me with my first few episodes. They volunteered. And I was so, the first episode, I'm thinking, how in the heck do I convince somebody to come and record a podcast with me? But anyway, it worked. Thank them wholeheartedly. They're still on the podcast. Once in a while, they pop up. But that trust is a very, very valid factor, in my opinion. I don't know what your opinion on it.
I agree. And the guests that I have on are generally not performing. They are being themselves.
100%.
And so when you listen to them or watch them, there's no, pardon my French, there's no BS. They are who they are. And so, if you like them, if you like what they're saying and you like how they're saying it, then you trust them, I think. And if you don't, you don't. And I think that's a great thing about podcasts is they're very genuine.